I'm Mike Kinderleiter, standing here with Larry Hinckley, and one of the reasons we're going to shoot this video is I just want to take a few moments with you, Larry, to say thank you for all the years that you've worked with us and worked with in the past with the distribution business, Powerwash.com now, and the support that I've actually received from you over the years with different projects that I had, being able to come to you as a resource for technical advice and stuff. That meant a lot to me in my past years, and just really wanted to take this opportunity to thank you and appreciate all that you've done. And if there's anything we can do for you in the future, you know, just give us a shout. You know where we're at.
Well, thank you very much, Mike. I appreciate it, and you make teaching easy because you're a darn good student.
That's good. That's good. Is there any? I think several times I had the opportunity. Your desk wasn't always here; it was at the other side. I can remember several times sitting down next to the chair, sitting there talking to Larry about a project I was working on and finding out the different pumps or wands or chemicals that were available that we could use to do the cleaning. And you're a valuable resource to be able to go to, as I'm sure several others in the industry have used you over the years.
Well, I have talked to a few people, yeah.
Right.
At one time I used to field nearly 1,000 calls a month. I can say, though, I didn't learn it overnight, nor did I learn it on accident. I had some pretty great teachers myself. Right. Yeah. You taught me a lot. Your dad taught me a lot. A lot of the people I worked with here in this facility taught me a lot over the years. So,
certainly, certainly.
And you guys made it possible for me to get out of here and meet people around the United States who had that knowledge and gain that.
Right.
So it came back home to roost.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. I always figured you're a class act and have enjoyed working with you. And is there any parting words of wisdom that you have for the rest of us?
Oh, I don't know. Not really. About the only thing I can say is every day you'll learn something new. I don't care how much you know, there will never be a day pass. And don't ever let those days stop, because if you stop learning, then you become stagnant. And
right. Yeah.
There's only one way to go once you get there.
I remember when I was younger, I forget what happened to me, and I had someone with a little more wisdom say to me, no experience is lost as long as something can be learned from it.
There you go.
So,
that's wonderful.
So I've always looked for, you know, regardless of what happened, and you know, positive or negative the situation, when I was frustrated with it, I decided, you know, what could I learn from that? What could I take out of that situation? Yeah. And that's always been helpful. Yeah.
That's great. That's great.
Not all cleaning jobs are like that, but you get dirty.
Yeah, some of them will make you pull your hair out.
But you learn what not to do the next time you go do a job like that.
That's for sure.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you, Mike. I appreciate it. Been a great run together.
Yep, you betcha.
I want to talk to you about Larry Hinckley today. He's retiring this week. It's going to be his last week, and myself, for one, is going to miss him very much. I've depended on Larry for the last 8 or 9 years very much. He's just like a brother to me. He's one of the most intelligent guys when it comes to the pressure washer business. I mean, not just technical, but if I have calls where people are wanting to do bids on houses and concrete work and so forth like that, Larry is very knowledgeable, one of the most knowledgeable men I've ever met in this industry. And he is sorely going to be missed as far as I'm concerned here at Powerwash.com. And like I said, I consider Larry as just like a brother. And hope he enjoys his retirement. We're going to miss him, but I know it's time that he works in his yard. That's what he likes to do. So I look forward to going out to his house in Granbury and eating steak with him one night. So But I appreciate everything you've done, Larry. Thanks.
Larry Hinckley, I just want to express my very good sympathy and appreciation for 29.5 years of dedicated service to the industry and to the companies me and you have been managing for a long time. It seems like I've known you forever, and you know, we almost know what each other are thinking without talking to each other. We went through a lot. We developed a lot of new things, a lot of environmental equipment, new technologies, the way to design equipment. You become senior technical advisor and worked extensively with manufacturers all across the nation, and particularly contract cleaners. You become senior technical advisor almost the entire industry. And for a long time you put out lots of hints, the power pipeline. Everybody looked forward to seeing that from week to week when it come out. We had the industry's first bulletin board. We established PWNA, Power Washers of North America, which is the trade association for the cleaning equipment, contract cleaners, and you've been very dedicated and passionate about your work here. I can't say enough to express my appreciation. Thank you for your service and partnership.
Hey Larry, it was a pleasure working with you here. Learned a lot from you. You taught me a lot of things that is going to help me in this industry. Appreciate your help on everything. Like I said, it's just a pleasure. So hopefully it goes well on your retirement, and have a good time. Thanks.
Mr. Larry Hinckley, it's been a pleasure the last couple months getting to know you better. I know I've known you for a few years, and what you mean to the industry is invaluable, and the ambassador you are for the industry and for this company is incredible, and we really appreciate it. Wish you the best in retirement. Feel free to come up anytime and see us, and you know, keep in touch with us so we know how you're doing. Thanks for everything.
Larry, I just wanted to tell you it's been a pleasure working with you. You've taught me quite a few things about this business, and you'll be sorely missed.
Hello, I'm Clyde Heminger, and you're watching Spray Tips TV. Today, it's my great honor to interview one of my coworkers, one of my friends, and one of my mentors, Larry Hinckley, who is going to be retiring at the end of the month. And Larry, I can't let you retire without asking you a few questions first. There's stuff that I have to know. I haven't asked you enough questions. I probably call Larry 2 or 3 times a day asking him questions, but I haven't asked you enough. So.
Well, Clyde, I don't think it's quite that bad.
I don't know. I guess let's start from the beginning. I want to know how you got involved in the power washing industry, and when did all that occur?
Actually, it all came about through a son-in-law was working at this company, working for Robert Hinderleiter, and I was working for a previous employer in Houston area, and he and I were talking on the telephone one day, and I told him I was getting tired and he wanted to know why, and I explained to him that I was averaging working 18 hours a day, and it had been like 4 months since I'd had a day off. And he said, "Oh my goodness." He said, "I have trouble getting people to work 8 hours a day. I wish I had somebody like you." And when he said that, I jokingly made the remark, "Hey, don't make any offers you can't back up." And one thing led to another, and that discussion turned into me vesting my retirement with that company, who I'd been with for 18 years at the time, and coming back to Fort Worth and going to work for Robert Hinderleiter. And that's what actually got me in here.
When you first started out, were there any lessons that you learned from your old job that you brought to this one that gave you maybe a special knowledge or special advantage?
Well, yes. Yes, there were. Actually, what I did for my previous employer was I was like a lead production supervisor. We manufactured beer and beverage cans, and it was a high-speed operation. We, like, at that time, had 2 production lines running. Each one of them was running 1,000 cans a minute.
Wow. Wow.
So when you had to make a decision, you had to make a decision you didn't have time to think about, because any hesitation at all and you got thousands of dollars laying on the floor. So one thing I carried away from there was the ability to assess what was going on in a real quick manner and make a decision. It's not something I ran into when I came to work here. I could see people standing around for hours trying to make a decision on a simple job. And I guess the boss appreciated my ability to do that, because he hung on to me for a while.
You're still here.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of being still here, what exactly was it about this industry that made you want to stay? Why did you choose to stick with it for as long as you did?
Well, it's several things. Number one, it's a constant challenge. It's never, ever boring. If you don't like what's going on at any given minute, just give it a few minutes. It'll change. Your challenges change, as the day progresses. I like a challenge.
How has the industry changed since you've been here? Since you started versus now, what would you say is the biggest difference?
Ooh, probably the number one difference is the nation has become smaller. And what I mean when I say that is, in the beginning, there was no internet. Any communication you had with people was by letter or by telephone. And when I say telephone, I don't mean cell phone. Cell phone back in those days was nearly as big as a pressure washer is today.
I'm old enough to remember the rotary dial, so I'm not quite that young.
Well, it's not quite that old, but literally a cell phone looked like an Army field phone.
Yeah.
That's how big they were at the time. So you didn't see people walking around with one in their pocket. In that respect, that's the greatest change I've seen is the information superhighway. The World Wide Web has opened up, and people can literally say good morning to their constituents, their customers, whoever, literally across the world. I mean, it's almost nothing to say good morning to somebody sitting, at their desk 5,000, 10,000 miles away.
I know you've really gotten into it. I've seen your Facebook, I've seen your LinkedIn, your YouTube videos are legendary. I mean, I've learned so much from watching you deconstruct pumps and burners, and so I know you're active. Is that something you see yourself doing post-retirement, or are you gonna?
Yeah, I think so. I think I'm gonna, I'm ready to retire to just walk away and rest. I'm tired, frankly, but I'm not ready to lay my head down and, you know, go on to meet the great maker.
Sure.
You know, so I'm going to stay active to some degree. I've made too many friends out there to just walk away. And it's really kind of comforting to share personal experiences with many of those friends. I've people that I've known for 20, 25 years. And I get to say good morning to them every day. And I like that.
Yeah. Who have some of your mentors been? You alluded to some of your friends, but I'm asking more, who taught Larry what Larry knows? The guru.
Oh, okay. Hello. There's been so many in my life. I guess probably, as I told you, the gentleman that hired me, Stan Hodge, was my first one. And Robert Hinderleiter taught me many, many things, and still does as the years pass. I mean, there are many, many people out there who have taught me so many things about pressure washers, about how to use them, about chemicals. I could, you know, if I started naming names, Clyde, I know I'd leave somebody out, and then I'd feel badly about that.
I understand.
But my brother probably had more to do with who I am today than anyone on this earth.
How did he influence you, if you don't mind me asking?
No. My father was killed in World War II on Iwo Jima before I was 2 years old.
I didn't know that.
My brother, God love his heart, was 20 months older than I was. And he became the man of the family at, 3.5 or 4 years of age. And he helped as best he could teach me my work ethic. He taught me mechanics. Virtually almost everything I know, he had some part in teaching me. And I would, if I gave one person on this earth credit for who Larry Hinckley is today, Gordon Hinckley, his elder brother.
All right. Well, I'm going to cut you off there. That way, if you did leave anybody out,
yeah,
it's my fault because I cut you off. All right. You have done so much in this industry. You have been, like I mentioned, the videos. You're also published in several accredited journals, Cleaner Times, and many others that I can't even name. What would you say is your greatest accomplishment?
I never really much thought about that, Clyde. This has always just been a way of life to me. I do what I do to help others. I don't mean to sound like some kind of saint, because I'm certainly not that, but yeah, there's a payback in it, sure. When I help people, they buy products from my company or from my boss's company. But I get a certain amount of self-satisfaction, and I would say greatest accomplishment, if I have one, would be the greatest satisfaction I get from helping the industry grow. When I first came into it, there was nobody to share information that you could get information from, because there was no World Wide Web. There were no cell phones. So if you were getting ready to do a job and you needed information on it, the only way you could get that information was to know somebody, call that person and talk to them on the telephone. And there were so many new people in the industry back in those days that didn't know anybody. So I guess by being available for younger people who are getting started in our industry, by being available for them to ask questions of, that's given me a tremendous source of satisfaction. And I guess if I do have any great accomplishments, as you put it, it's the fact that I've been able to help so many people over the years.
As many great things as you've done, you're humble as always, Larry.
Oh.
You've designed so many things, had such a huge part in, I know, water reclamation, and recently our latest generation of soft wash products at Powerwash.com, and I mean, had a hand in making the pressure washing industry safer. You know, ideas for, you know, thermostats and things that can be added to, and pop-off valves to make machines idiot-proof. You know, so you've done a lot. Okay, you also mentioned new people to the industry. If you did have some advice for somebody new to the industry, what would it be?
Education. Seek education. Do not come in unadvised. Do not try to hunt and peck and guess your way through it. There's so much information available to you today that you can save yourself a fortune. If you'll just sit down and talk to someone who is knowledgeable in this area, they can guide you. Don't start buying equipment without knowing what you need for what you're going to do. And, you know, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
What do you mean there? I mean, I know what the expression means, but as it relates.
As it relates to the power washing industry, if you decide that you want to get into the power washing industry, don't just choose one thing that you want to do and say, that's all I'm going to do. And prepare yourself for that and that alone. Diversify. Be flexible and have the ability that if one sector of the industry begins to slow down, you can just move very comfortably into another sector of it.
Put your finger in a lot of honeypots.
Exactly.
Okay. And for somebody that's been in the industry a while, say 5 years, 10 years, would the advice be the same, or is there?
Continuing education is always important. I'm soon to have 30 years in this industry. I learn something new every day, literally. I study constantly, and I share that information with others. So what I'm saying is, if I can do it, anybody can do it. And you never know so much that you don't need to learn something else, no matter who you are.
I'd say that's true.
It can add, you know, the whole thing is about making money. And anything that's going to add to the bottom line is obviously worth the doing. So if you've been in this industry for 5 months or 5 years, you can still gain by education.
Leads me perfectly into my next question. There's fixing to be a big Larry-sized hole in my day where I get all my answers. When you retire, where am I supposed to go to get, where does Larry Hinckley go to find the answers? Where do you recommend to people in this industry to find information?
Well, of course, there's many different places, and you asked basically 2 or 3 different questions.
I did, yeah.
Where do I go? I go, as I said, to the World Wide Web. There is a plethora of knowledge available to anyone who's willing to look for it. This wonderful little program called Google, and I use it in a generic sense.
Yeah. Google, I've heard of that, yeah.
you can find out almost anything you want to know, literally. And there's another place that I try to frequent as often as possible, and that's public libraries. There's a lot of information available, and they are available online.
Do they still make those?
Yeah.
Public library?
Yeah, they really do. At bookstores.
Wow.
You know, that's one thing I'm definitely going to work on is reading more. As one of my favorite sayings, there's so many books, so little time. I really, really do enjoy reading. And as for you personally, you will always have my phone number if you need any questions.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. All right, well, we're almost done. I want to wrap it up a little bit. I guess final question is, what are your plans for the future?
Actually, enjoy life. I'll soon be 70, and I'm realistic enough to know nobody lives forever. And as we get older, we're somewhat limited as to the things we are physically capable of doing. I'd like to do some of those things while I still can. I like to do more of the things that I enjoy doing that I have so little time to do now. I'd like to spend time with my family. I'd like to spend time in my flower beds, in my yard, and cooking. I love to cook, and that type of thing.
Yeah, so basically just live life.
And I am considering writing a book. I don't know if I will or not, but I'm thinking about it.
Well, now you've really piqued my interest. I have to ask, what would the subject of that book be? What kind of, or maybe just what kind of book, if you don't mind saying?
I'm not certain. At this point, I'd have to be very careful what I said, because if I said I was going to write an expose, I could end up with a bullet in my back or something like that, because I know too much on too many people. But honestly, no, it would be a technical manual, something of that nature.
I'd read that. That would be required reading, I think, for anybody at Powerwash University. That would be, here, start with this. When you're done, we'll talk to you. You know, or not.
It would be more a reference book than a sit down and read. It'd be one of those kind of books that would just bore you to death. You know. But you know, I think that somebody needs to compile a reference book, and I know it's something you got to do out of care and love for the industry, because it's not something you could sell or make money on. Nobody would buy it, you know. There's too much free information out there, but somebody has to have that free information. So unless you want to talk to 25 or 30 or 40 different people to get a well-rounded answer on a subject, you have to have some sort of reference material.
Sure. Putting that information into an organized place,
yes.
One place, has value.
Yeah.
I think it would sell, and I think you should do it.
Well, thank you for the vote of confidence. And as I said, that would definitely be on my bucket list. Let me say it like that.
I hope you do. I hope you do. And Larry, thank you.
Thank you, Clyde.
Thank you. I really appreciate this. And if you haven't already, click the button to the bottom corner of your screen and subscribe to our channel, please do. And if you like what you see, click the thumbs up and leave us a comment on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter. You can read more of Larry Hinckley's articles at Powerwash.com. And as always, if you have any questions, give us a call, 1-800-433-2113. Thank you very much.
When I grow up, I want to be a power washer, just like my daddy.